everyone, welcome to the Vegan Stew. We skipped last month. We just skipped it completely. Like none of us even spoke up to be like, when are we going to do this? So here we are. It is almost June, and we are ready to talk about just about anything and everything because that's what happens when we don't get together for a couple of months. We have so much to say, so we aren't going to do a topic, like a specific topic, because the problem is we like never stay on topic. I just have to get some people in here, so give me 1 second. I have to send codes. Okay, there we go. So what does that mean? That means we're going to do like we always do. We're going to go everywhere. And I'm sure all of us have things to say about the world and what's happening, and we all like to talk. So we'll see what goes on there. But let's say thank you to Kathy Hester, is our sponsor of the month, and very awesome. If you check out Plant-Based Instant Pot, then you can, check out all the stuff that she has going on. 318-376. One more person's coming in. It's the problem. It's the fun things about live. So definitely check out Kathy Hester. Amazing cookbooks, local to me and my community here in Raleigh-Durham, and a super wonderful human being. And of course, thank you to the rest of our sponsors. You can win prizes. We no longer have like a monthly contest, but you can enter to get raffle tickets, or like virtual raffle tickets for all our festivals. And we're just going to start giving stuff away. So pay attention to social media and you'll see like you'll get stuff, and the people you can get stuff from, which is super cool, is Fabulous, Dojo Fresh, Veg Key, Terra Seed, Bernie Wild's Adventure Sauce, Trupo Treats, Kathy Hester, Bitchin' Sauce, and Hodo Foods. So let me come back over here. And we are live on Instagram. So hi, everybody on Instagram on VegFest Expos. We're really happy that you're here as well. And if you can follow us on YouTube, the Vegan Stew and Virtual VegFest, actually it's VegFest Expos now, and you can hit the notification bell to know when we go live. That would be super cool. Hi, Walter. Nice to see you again, or like see you again. That's like really cool. So I'm going to bring in the Stew crew. I'm still working on getting everybody in because let me say 4 is. So let's see what happens. Okay, there's Kayla. Yay, Kayla's here. And we got all these people watching, which is like super cool as well. So thank you. Once again, follow our social media. Follow all our social media. You see the little ticker on the bottom. And that's how you know how to see what we're all doing. And guess what? You can learn about everything that's going on with us in just a moment. So let's bring on the Stew crew. Oh, we got a bark from Ellen Jaffe Jones, which is great, and it doesn't sound like she can hear us. Are there no, we can talk Nashville. We're going to talk the whole state of Tennessee, Walter. We got Kelly, the vegan apler, and we've got Marla Rose.
Meow.
And then we've got Kayla.
Hello.
This is awesome. Let me see if we can get Sovereign in. So that would be super helpful.
Hey, Kayla.
But I can address Walter's question, not by me. I have dropped the state of Tennessee. So sorry.
You break up with Tennessee? Are you ghosting?
Broke up with Tennessee completely. For my own sanity and for my own mental health and well-being, I need to cut back, not keep adding on. So Tennessee went this year, and then next year, I'm so sorry to the other places that I'm not going to that don't know that yet. So I can't. It's that or I stop doing this altogether.
Yeah.
So those are my choices.
Right.
And I don't want to stop doing this altogether. So
better to scale back and keep going.
Scale back and grow what I'm going to scale back to.
Right.
right? So take a festival that say has like 3,000 people and turn it into a 7,000 person festival instead of having like 1,000, 1,500 person festivals.
You're going deep, not going wide. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going wide too. But it's not a bad thing. It just, oh God, did it sound sexual?
Seriously.
Sorry.
Sorry. Couldn't help but go there. Okay, so Sovereign's working on getting in. I am just going to throw this at somebody else to talk while I work on Sovereign getting in, and you all can.
I don't know what's going on with my bangs today. That's what I got to share.
Let me see if anyone's like. What's it? Like I said, we have people on Instagram watching, which is super cool. So welcome, and I have to hop over there too.
How original! I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to engage with trolls, but that guy, he seems very.
Oh, where did you come from?
Poor guy.
Poor
David. Poor David.
Bye, David.
I think our Marla, how long have you been vegan? 30 years? Something
30
like
years, yes. My body needs it for health.
I said yes.
I'm not a ghost. I am a ghost.
Yeah, you're almost dead. Almost. Maybe tomorrow.
30 years, and it will be in February.
Maybe it came from my YouTube channel. It's because I got an email saying we're live on YouTube too, on my channel.
Yes, I added your YouTube as well. I'm just waiting to find this code for Sovereign, so Sovereign can get in here. I haven't gotten a new code.
All right, well, we're waiting
for summer.
300 back there, 5K or longer age group award since 2006, just on plants. That's what.
Woo, girl! Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, your body needs it for health, right? Hey, I just want, yes, and Ellen, you're getting a fair amount of media over that, aren't you?
I have been because, like, so there's even discussion. It's a Guinness Book of World Records, but I haven't had time to go down.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, who does this kind of stuff? You know, it was kind of an accident. Somebody came up to me at a at a 5K race and saw my Eat Vegan on $4 a day shirt and said, "You can't run on a vegan diet. You can't be competitive." And it's like, what? I've already, by then, 2011, had been doing this since 2006. Right. So I just it just ignited this, watch me.
Yeah, just you watch.
Mine as well.
And then why not 300?
Oh,
from Kayla.
Awesome. I ran a 6-hour trail marathon.
No.
Back to back 10K, 5K, 15K, and won first place in the 5K.
Oh my God.
Congratulations.
Well, it wasn't that long ago. You didn't know if you were going to be able to run again.
Right.
It really wasn't.
Yeah.
You major, can you describe what your injury was?
Yeah. So I had sestamoditis, had a fracture in my foot, didn't know if I was going to run again. People told me that I should change my diet. It was because I was vegan. I refused to believe that, of course. I was like, no, we're gonna heal. We're gonna get back to running. And yeah, I mean, it took time, of course, like any bone injury. Yes. It takes time to heal, especially when you walk on your 2 feet every single day. But yes, it took
walking on your hands, right?
Yeah, right? It took 18 months, but we still, kept eating plant-based vegan. Did a lot.
And I think you were also kind of patient with the even though it was a frustrating process, you didn't overdo it. You didn't say, screw that diagnosis, I'm just gonna see what happens, Right. You kind of talked to professionals and listen to your body.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's super cool.
Yeah. But I didn't give up.
No, I would never expected you to
resilient.
Not to segue, but speaking of not giving up, Stacey O'Brien, who's commenting, she has been nursing and raising this newborn, like newborn, 2-week-old newborn kitten that we found in our shed. And we found her on Mother's Day, and Stacy is an incredible animal caregiver, and she knows all about, there's certain you can't just give them an eyedropper of milk or whatever. So she's been feeding and burping and causing, yes, there's my baby. But Stacy's amazing, and if she, so she's a little Gigi is Gigi for gray girl, but the not giving up thing is not only that Stacy has devoted her time to giving this baby a second chance, well, just like a first chance, really. The reason why she's alive, this girl, is because she was so insistent in our janky ass, messy ass shed of being found. She was so loud beyond her size that, like, I mean, we could hear her. Even John, who's like partially deaf, could hear her. We're looking all around. Her voice is being thrown all around, but we finally found her and got her to the baby. Or got her to Stacy. So anyway.
And she'll be coming home to you, right?
I don't think we're adopting. I'm not sure, but well, she's still baking at Stacy's house.
Pretty sure that with everything that you've done to save that child's life,
I mean, she is going to end up in a wonderful home, no matter what.
I know.
Yes.
In a home named Marla and John and Justice.
I mean, honestly, it's wild because that first day that we found her, I got all, because I was looking community-wise if somebody had seen a loose,
Right.
cat, mom, because we couldn't find the mom, and all these people are in my inbox like, I'll adopt her. So like, she's gonna have no problems. But
Oh, that's wonderful. Yes, I mean it's a very good vegan theme that typically vegans like to save animals, and so many, from cats, dogs, pigs, birds, sheep, goats.
Those
ducks.
first pictures you posted, like when she was a day or two old, like
a week or
how
two.
could you even do that? I mean, that's just so amazing.
We
And
were.
it's so fun to be
It
a
was
kid,
just,
right?
we got very lucky because there are possums and raccoons, and I mean, we live in an urban environment, but like, and who's to say how much longer she could have gone on without being fed, without getting hydration, so and she's sassy, but she's also like the other thing I'm really glad for is, like, I'm very appreciative of the people who feed and care for feral cats, but I'm glad that that their lives are so hard. You know what I mean? Living outside in the wind. I'm glad that she's going to have a loving family, indoors.
Right. Did anyone see, I don't know who posted it, somebody on my timeline posted it, about the baby raccoons that died because these people thought they could take care of them, like help nurse them and help them live, and they wouldn't get them to the rehabber. They couldn't get them to the rehabber for like a couple of weeks.
Oh.
Yeah.
And there's so much information now. There's like, it's so much. It's not necessarily easy to find, someone who's going to step up and do that care. We're so lucky to have Stacy here, but it's so much easier just to research and find out, like, these are the positions they need to be in. This is
they starved to death because they weren't feeding them enough. They had to go to work, and they thought they knew what they needed to do, and they didn't. So the post was basically about, don't think you know what to do. Go find the people that do and save these little babies' lives. And they literally starved to death. You can see the ribs, and they were crying from the starvation. And that's just, it's just awful. And I don't mean to like go into a place that's horrible for everybody, but it's super important that if you find an animal that is in distress or needs help, that it's not necessarily on your shoulders to figure
Right.
out how to do that, but it is on your shoulders to find somebody who can.
Find the right people. Yeah. It's
So
really
that's-
sad here in not in Illinois, but in Wisconsin. There's another not hoarding, but animal neglect case at a sanctuary where a lot of the animals have died because the founder of the sanctuary refused to have any interventions for the animals, and they starved.
Oh, this. I mean, Stacy, thank you for all you're doing, because like she's saying that she hasn't slept more than 3 hours. It's a baby, and people aren't credit for rescuing without actually doing the work. It's more admirable to get them to the right place. It most certainly is.
Exactly. Mhm.
Yes, and there was just a post from somebody else about a sheep or a goat that was in labor
Mhm.
and was thrown out by the farmer, and the rest of the sanctuary tried to say, let us have them, and he refused. So she suffered and gave birth, and then he shot the mom in front of the baby.
Shot the mother animal.
Shot the mother to death. Yeah. Yes.
Mm.
And then they gave up the baby to rescue the sanctuary. The baby needs to be held, wakes up like having traumatic nightmares.
Mm.
Not just humans, people. It's not just humans. They're sentient beings.
It's
They
like
feel.
the ditches who find like baby sharks and take pictures with them on the beach and kill them in the process of, or let like baby dolphins and stuff, that are
Right.
in stress.
Yes. Because it's more important to give video evidence of this
Post
cute,
this on TikTok or
yes,
whatever.
than to actually help an animal in distress. Please don't do that.
It is hard though to find good
humans
who are experienced and can do the work, and also like I wanted to mention, like maybe Stacy will post it in the comments, but it also costs a lot of money. It's not just I'm grinding some oats in my kitchen. So Stacy self-employed, so she's because of the level of care, especially right away, is not able to take on as many jobs. And also, they need medication, they need deworming, they need food, they need all the things. And that's not spaying or anything yet, So that's where the community comes in and has been very kind and generous, but it's ongoing, There are so many ways to help that are not direct and are every bit as important. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's that you can donate to help with Gigi's care. You can just send money to Stacy.
$10, it all adds up.
Exactly. I'm just trying to get rid of those. There we go. Some of these didn't work. Oh, that's okay. Well, shocking. So let's see. It has been like 2 months since we've gotten together, and a lot has happened in the world. A lot has happened, I'm sure, personally, professionally. You're welcome, Stacy. So, I don't even know where to start with. Like, where do we even go? Well, it's been 2 months. What month are we in? May? March, April, May. So festival season's on. I'm 3 in. Weather. I hate weather. You would think there's something called like climate change and global warming happening, because it is just, oh my goodness. Stacy's now adding that there's a huge roadside zoo in Tennessee for sale that includes the sale of all the exotic animals. Well, maybe we should go buy that and take care of the animals. Hopefully somebody who is sane can purchase that and take care and give those animals sanctuary instead of them living lives of like circus lives, I guess you could say. But yeah, so the Just so in case I don't forget, we love your comments. We love your questions. If you have them, please put them in the comment box and be part of the show. You have 6 amazing people here who have experience in all of veganism, every facet that you can think of, health, animals, environment. If you have questions, ask them and just send us on a tangent because we're a fan. Huge fan of that. Yeah, so I did a very cold Raleigh, a stormy Wilmington, and a very hot Columbia. So
I think it's more like, rather than warm, it's extreme weather, right? It's not necessarily always hot, but it's often like, I wasn't expecting that, you know?
yeah, the storm that came through in Wilmington that took all 4 of my 10 by 20 tents and made them roll was
Did they destroy them too or not?
1 out of 4.
Gosh.
They're mangled. They're not perfect
They're
anymore.
not looking good.
But they still go up and down. And I kind of just stood there and took it all in. Didn't say a word. I was like tent weights. I tell the vendors all the time to put tent weights on their tents, and guess who did put tent weights on their tents? So what am I gonna do? So and yeah, Kelly's watching. Hey Kelly, he was there. I don't think he was set up yet, but you came probably.
Oh,
after
you
the
were there,
storm.
Kelly?
No, different Kelly, the one that's watching. You
okay.
just gave the thumbs up. Yes.
Mhm.
So I mean, gosh, yeah, it's been wild, and like I said, I'm pretty burnt out as we started the show, and I'm just like a heartbeat away from just quitting completely. It doesn't take much these days to push me over an edge. And it's been happening, like things have been happening to make me just like be like, I'll just cancel the rest of the year, and I can't. But and then like things like today happened where one of the vendors did a story on Instagram, didn't tag me in it. I just happened to see it and just praised me. Brought me to tears. And
can you
I mean,
share the vendor's name in the comments?
I sure can.
I'd like to see.
It's Juiced Up
But
Reese.
those little things, those little acknowledgments, right? Like, I think that so often when you're good at something, people, it sounds like a silly thing to say, but like people just assume that you're good at it, and so it's easy for you. And like, not that we have to get constant comments, but I think especially, like, I can say just from our experience having Vegan Mania for 10 years, it was wonderful, but like you tend to only hear from people who have a complaint.
It's gotten better. It's definitely it's definitely better than it was in the beginning, where it was cruel, and everyone after like the day after the event, the week after the event, it's just
let their jabs in.
It's just so awful that people forget, like, there's humans behind this, like there's people behind this that do this and like put our heart and soul into it. So to be cruel or to make a comment that's mean it's super hurtful, and it doesn't matter how long we're doing this, it still hurts.
It does. And I don't think that people realize how much just a little kindness and like specific kind of compliments that like how much that can just like, you can go from an empty tank to like keep going, but yeah, I mean, one of the things that I noticed and a vendor confirmed to me is that like immediately after an event is when they're the crabbiest about it, and then like 6-7 months later they're all excited for it again, but like right away they're like
I'm like, do you realize what has happened here? Like, I love the people who think that they're like, can we just do it again next weekend? No. No. This was like a year's worth of work.
So much is thankless, and so much is like what with Vegan Mania, what we used to joke about is like, so it just so happens John's a graphic designer, I'm a writer, so we could do a lot of stuff in-house, that made it professionalize up. but behind the scenes, we are holding it together with like gum and duct tape and like whatever random bits that we, but like for the user experience, it was wonderful, but they don't realize how hard it is. And that's when it's a good event, is because you make it look easy, you know?
Right.
And so people don't realize, you know, and that's understandable. There's like probably a lot of different profession. I mean, every profession, when you're really good at it, you can make it look easy, and it's not, you know?
Yes, in Colombia, some people stopped me and asked me some like really good questions, like why is it here? Why isn't it the other location?
Oh.
And I had to explain because it was much smaller than previous years, and the location was much smaller. And I had to say, well, the other location, we wouldn't have food trucks.
You wouldn't
That's
have.
it. Food trucks.
Oh,
said,
yeah.
that's it.
And then-
That was enough to be like, we can't do this here
Mm.
because we can't not have food trucks.
right.
They really make the festival.
Yeah.
So, and they were like, oh, you know, thank you for explaining.
But like they
Like,
hadn't thought about that. They didn't realize that, you know, and
they're like, can you explain that to people? And I'm just like, you know, if you read my newsletter, you probably know.
do you
I
have
didn't say that.
like a FAQ type thing on your website that you could address that?
You know, the only festival actually that has like a frequently asked question on the Facebook event page is Georgia, because it came with one. So I just kept it going. And I don't know why I haven't taken that and applied it to the rest.
I
because
mean,
you're right.
because you're busy.
It would make sense to do that. And I mean, I try to answer people's questions, but you know, even if you answer questions, guess what? They
Right.
ask.
I mean, you're only answering it once, you know, and here it's all at one location. You know, you could just say, love to talk to you about it if you have, you know what I mean?
Oh, I know. So yeah, so that's been an interesting year. And obviously this week in my newsletter, I wrote about respect because I was at a car dealership and I was not treated respectfully. And it really bothered me. Like it's abusive. I mean, it was a male female type dynamic. And I actually had my head in my hands while he was trying to find the information, you know, in his little tablet, and I looked at his tag and he'd been an employee since 2023. So I was like, well, you're not new because it's May. So you should know what you're doing. And he just did one of those, well, who called you? And I was like, some person in there called me, and don't speak to me like nobody called me to tell me what is actually happening here today. So, and then he tried to show me that I was called today by a note in the little tablet. And I was like, that wasn't today. It was a note that called you today. And I said, I need another advisor. So I just went there. I said, I said, this is done. I'm done with this. I'm done with this dynamic. I'm not going to have this dynamic. I'm not going to be treated this way. So he got me the other service advisor I'd had previously, who came over, and everything went perfectly from that point forward. But that led me to talk about respect, because that is something that has come up obviously a lot over the last, 3-4 months. And consideration and communication are all super important things. And what's happening is people aren't. They're not communicating. They're not being respectful. And I don't understand it. Just talk. The outcome of that conversation, whether it's good or bad, is still better because you spoke. And give the consideration of saying like, oh, hey, I'm going to do this. And I know it's probably going to hurt you or you're not going to like it, but I'm like, at least giving you a heads up type scenario. So I'm done with those people. That's one thing that I've learned over this year. This year is I'm done, and I'm okay with that. And you don't have to be in my life.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you went through a pretty, I don't want to say traumatic, but like, just a very abrupt, shocking breakup, and like, I think when something just rocks your world in that kind of sudden way, you really can. It really helps the perspective of knowing, like, this is bullshit. I don't have time for this. This is small potatoes. I don't, you know what I mean? Or
Story.
anyone weighing you down, you know?
Yeah, no more.
Yeah.
No more.
So now, hell yes, there, hell no.
It's very nice to be mentally healthy.
Mhm.
That's something that is I will not take for granted.
Mhm.
And every time something happens, or I communicate or talk about something, or this happens, I'm just like, wow, this is amazing. That and like weird things, right? Like I don't remember what his voice sounds like, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Have you not
Really,
talked since, since the breakup, basically, or?
there's been one moment where he had to come and sign stuff that we were in the same room,
Mhm.
but it didn't matter. It didn't even resonate.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
didn't resonate. So I, you know, there's so many other people going through hard times and relationships that are ending. And when you're initially going through something that's super difficult, you don't think it's going to ever change.
Right.
Right. I knew that it would change. I knew that it wouldn't be forever. However, initially it's trauma and
Mhm.
it's betrayal in my case.
Yeah.
So, but I'll tell you,
Of 2 people, not just him.
right, you can, and I've written about this in the newsletter too, you will move forward. It will get better. It does get better. It does get better.
Mhm.
Life doesn't continuously suck. And you know what? It didn't. I just had tons of
That's your
support.
pep talk for today.
It doesn't have to. It can
Mm.
life can always get better. You don't have to stay in that dark
Mhm.
spot. And you having support and friends and people. For 8 weeks, nobody let me not have plans. I'm
And
not
you
kidding.
also allowed that, you
Yes.
not only allowed that, but you sought that out. You weren't just passive.
Oh, well, I was pretty passive. They made sure. My
No, but
friends
I
made
mean,
sure.
I remember you created like a Zoom get together, just like,
Yes.
I mean, just like little things like that. I think that can make all the difference, that absolutely.
Right, to give support and receive support.
Yeah.
And I you only hope that people are as fortunate to
Mhm.
have support when they need it. Or, and it's hard because it's not just, I don't just want support from anybody. I don't just want to talk to anybody. And I can introvert to like the best of my ability. Super good at it. But I forced myself to go out. I forced myself to go do things that I would like never do. I would typically stay home and be more than happy to be home doing them. But I made sure that I went and did things.
That's awesome.
And yes.
And I think especially because in your situation, your lives were enmeshed in so many ways because of the work and the travel and all of that. So then it's not just that you push past discomfort in terms of like, being depressed or whatever and wanting to stay home, but also just like recalibrating to going out there as a single person who doesn't have this person at their side all the time, which, you've come to realize is not the worst thing in the world, but it can take, not a small matter.
No, and it's, I mean, that's important because everybody has their stuff going on. I mean, Kelly's got stuff going on. Ellen's had stuff going on. Sovereign's had stuff going on. Kayla has had stuff going on, and Marla, you have. I mean, everybody does.
Yeah.
It's just, I think this is the most important lesson that you have, which I try to impress on my people, is that it doesn't have to stay that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can easily go down a dark hole.
Absolutely.
Easily. Kayla could have done that when she couldn't run. I mean, she just tried to do other things to make sure she kept her exercise in. I mean, you went to like a whole fit thing that you started doing, right?
Mhm.
when you couldn't run and you like got super duper fit. So
Mhm.
not that you're not, you know what I mean, but like you did one of those like 30-day fit everyday challenge things or whatever.
Oh yes.
Yep.
Yep. Mhm. Yeah, I just kept going. I took it day by day. I remember
Yeah.
thinking, okay, I just got to take it day by day, keep doing what I can do and not give up. Especially because now, like working in the nursing home, I see so many people just give up.
Yeah.
Like life gets hard, their hip hurts or something, and they just give up. And it's so sad to see that. Because I have
It's
seen also people
understandable.
rebound. You can rebound. You can come back if you take care of yourself.
Mhm. That's such a good point, and I feel like I feel like from the perspective of someone who is a caregiver in a pretty intense way twice, once for my mom and then once for my husband when he was sick. I have just a couple general comments to make. Is like one is what you I think Helene were saying about it doesn't have to be like this. You can, when you're in the midst of a very, very challenging dark time and you see nothing but like wall around you that you have to scale somehow, especially if it's something that lasts for a while and you don't know when it's going to end or if it's going to end favorably. It can be really easy to lose sight of the person you are and the enjoyments that you have had and your hobbies and your different quirky relationships. You can become very kind of robotic, or at least that was my experience of just like trying to juggle so much and trying to hold it all together. And that like, I can't get sick. I can't do, I've got my son still in school and all those things. It's, if I could say anything, like the least helpful advice for me was like things like, make sure you get some rest. Make sure, I have no time, like what? But what would have been the most helpful is just to sit with me and remind me that I was still Marla, that I wasn't like this two-dimensional robot, or whatever, automaton. That I still had interests, that I still had passions outside of this, And the other thing I want to just really briefly talk about or touch on is like when John was diagnosed, his attitude and just general demeanor and personality is to look at things with excitement and like kind of a childlike innocence. Like when he first got his diagnosis and he was taken from the ER at one hospital to the ER at another, and it was his first time in an ambulance, and he had just gotten the news that they thought he had leukemia. He said, well, that was kind of cool. I got to take an ambulance. He's so great. But so his general, and this is like maybe part of it is what he can cultivate, but part of it is his temperament. It's very fortunate to have like this kind of eager beaver. Like, I think personally, I don't think there's anything to beat yourself up over if your attitude is not like chipper. Which is how John's. I think it's okay to be honest about, like, I'm really fucking scared right now. I'm really angry at the world. I'm really tired. I'm really pissed off. I'm really resentful. Right. It's okay to touch. To me, that was the worst thing, is like, if I had to stuff it, just let it out and then you can move on, But anyway, that's like the main things I wanted to say is like, don't beat yourself up if you're not like perfectly cheerful about these things happening,
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that really smacks me in the face here in Florida, I was at a doctor's office today, and people, when they check in at the counter, they have to give their birth date. And I'm looking at this woman, and she's 2 years younger than me, and she looks 20 years older. And I think, to your point, Kayla, people do just give up. I think this happened before our last stew, not sure. I was at a swim meet, walked in the entrance, tripped over a
Yes.
fire hose I didn't see, broke my rib, and was in such agony and, was just so pissed off. God, I was pissed off because I knew what it was going to do to my running career. And then, just recently I was diagnosed with hyperthyroidism, which explains so much why I'm really hyper and lost 10 pounds in 3 weeks. Really cool. Don't try this at home.
I should probably try to find out if I have that too. Because I'm
Well, hyper is when you lose weight. Hypo, which your body doesn't make enough thyroid. And this, I'm learning, happens like I've heard it estimated as high as 70% in people over 50. And we often don't know it. And so you have to get tested for it, which I am. So I had an ultrasound today of my neck, which was really cool. It was like, if you find a baby in there, please let me know. But, we were exposed as kids, and this is, the mind-boggling stuff. Marla, I don't think they did this in Chicago. In St. Louis, they did nuclear testing in the 60s. And so they tested 300,000 St. Louis kindergartners or grade school kids. And we got this little button. If you Google it, it's a thing. I gave my tooth to science. We were exposed to strontium-19 in cow's milk. They had no clue that this happened. We participated in the study. Nobody ever told us what was the result of it or anything else. So there are all these things that sometimes can come to play that have nothing to do with how good a vegan diet you are doing or, your lifestyle or anything. And, you keep looking for, well, what did I do wrong? But, I know that my sister had thyroid surgery in her 40s. So I'm thinking that I've probably done a lot of stuff right that has kept me going as long as I have. So, taking joy in the things that you do accomplish is just so important in trying to stay positive when these things kind of gobsmack you. I go to an oncologist too, because I think I've shared, I was falsely diagnosed with a form of bone cancer. And so they still monitor my blood. And I went there this time just to get my blood work done. And it was the day that all the oncology folks were there. An entire room, must have been 100 people getting chemo at one time. And it was just like walking into death. I mean, it's just how I felt in this room. And so however we find motivation to keep going, the images, whatever they have, whether it's, for saving a kitty or just not wanting to go down those rabbit holes of feeling and being those people, that's what it takes sometimes, just to get your inner strength going. And I think I'm done for the rest of the show.
Kelly, you've something to say, right?
Well, we've got to do this.
It's all good. It's all good. Kelly has.
Yeah, Kelly, talk to us.
I'm
I was going to say, I think like for me, I agree with what you're saying, but I also think that it's totally valid to allow yourself to feel those ways as well. Right.
So,
There's just
100%.
days where you're just like, and it can happen, like for me, it can happen like by the hour, right? And I allow myself to be okay with those thoughts. And that, I think if you try to, say, well, I should be thinking this way, or I should be feeling this way, or, I should be over this by now, or whatever, right? Like, you can't really truly heal. So, I just like having so much grace for yourself, and whatever you want to feel in that moment, you're totally valid to feel that. And if you feel like giving up for an hour, give up for an hour, right?
Absolutely.
I had to stop running for 2 months. I mean, Kayla, you know what this is like. It's like, I'm going to survive.
It'd be fairly easy for me to stop running for 2 months.
You'd have to start first, Marla. You have to start first. But Kelly, you're right. That's something I was going to add to it is you need to feel what you feel. When you're angry,
Let it
angry. When
flow.
you're sad, be sad. If you're happy, be happy. Just don't introvert or go so dark that you don't come out. Don't go so alone that you stay alone. And then the really bad thoughts start coming into your head. That is not good.
Yeah. I mean, when I get to that point, I let my family know, right? So they can watch me and they can, try to pull me out if they see me going down there.
For
Right.
No,
'Cause the-
anti-anxiety medication has been sorry, my saving grace when I started in all of that, because it's very easy to, find one little thing and keep piling on it and piling on it and going off in these different directions, that it's just like, if we're not going to blame people for um conditions that they were born with, then we can't blame them if they're inclined toward depression or anxiety or mental these, I mean, you know what I mean. I mean, there are a lot of people who will blame you either way. But can I say one really quick little thing too? I wanted to mention, Ellen, like when you were talking about being in the doctor's office and seeing someone who is around your age and 20 years older, you're looking 20 years older. I was going to mention, my mother, especially as she started getting into her late 40s and 50s, started looking very old for her age. Like she started, I mean, we didn't know that down the road she was going to have like Lewy body dementia and these other, Parkinsonism. But she had also, before all that, had been through a lot of emotional abuse for years and years and years and years with my dad. And I think that ages you, and so like, I think the main thing the main point I want to make is just like, we can't assume, like, even if somebody looks older because they have a poor diet, that's not for us to judge, but like, we can assume that, I mean, you can assume that anyone you meet has had lots of sadness in their lives, lots of joy, lots of, but like, I just want to put it out there that like, there are a lot of people who look older than their ages, and it may be because they've been through extended periods of abuse,
It could be because they had children.
Yeah.
Have you not seen women who have had children compared to women that haven't had children?
I
There's
always
a
think
stress.
women
There's a
look
stress
older
level
than
there.
me that are my age, and I'm like, wait, you're my age.
You're not supposed to have kids yet.
I don't have kids.
Ellen's got 3 kids, right? 3 daughters. Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I mean, you all have
And
kids
Kelly
except
has
for me and Kayla.
Yes, Kelly
So-
has 2. Sovereign has 2.
I was gonna. There was a topic that I just thought about that I just wrote. I just wrote a note. My note is vegan. Like that helps me.
That's always helpful, right?
It helps me figure out what topic I want to talk about, because I was like, oh, that's something that we could talk about. It's gone. It's just, maybe it'll come back. I don't think so. Maybe if it's
I know, I
important, it
took
will.
those too. I just wrote my mother.
That would probably help me more than
Yeah.
vegan.
Little more
Because
specific, yeah.
oh, I know what it is. All right, Jessica Shea, who does Vegan Street Fair, actually did a live, like did a on Instagram. She did post a story, whatever. And I've been saying this as well, but the post was about the vegan businesses, how they're closing, how they're not having success, how they're turning the food businesses are adding omnivore, they're adding dairy, they're adding vegetarian, they're adding meat to their menus so they can stay open, which we've discussed. But what we have to do as a community to support so that these places can stay open and have success. And the biggest problem, which is what came out, there were tons of comments on this, which I commented, Tori Washington commented, and man, we have to come together as a community to be able to support what we as a community are like in factions. And there's I won't ever go there because they added meat to their menu. I won't ever help somebody because, I'm all about the animals and not about humans. I don't care about Palestine. and you're an anti-Semite if you do, and you're anti-Israel. Because let me just touch this for a second, because more people in the vegan world need to actually come out and say something. And Marla and I are Jews, and Marla, I think you and I think align here, but I didn't start this way. You can care for Israel, be against the war, and be pro helping the Palestinian people.
Yeah.
And hate Hamas. All at the same time.
Yes.
It is not one or the other. It is not 100% zero. You can feel all those things and not want to see innocent people be killed. And I'm going to give you an analogy.
Absolutely.
I'm going to give you an analogy of, say, Canada, Kelly, comes down and Trump becomes president again. Like, let's hope not. Trump becomes president again, and Canada's like, we're just going to bomb the United States.
Please do.
Because you all love Trump. Because you made him a president, so you must all love him. So we're just going to kill all of you because you're all Trump lovers. And that's not the case, is it? There are a high percentage of people who do not care for that person to be part of our country. And if you come and you bomb all of us, you are killing people who actually don't care for that person. You can't tell me that every Palestinian person is pro-Hamas, because we know that's not true. And we also know that babies are neither. They're nothing yet. They didn't even get a chance to live. But if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to create an environment where everyone is, I hate Israel.
There is a lot of demonizing going on back and forth, I think, and I think it just points to a lot of things, but one is just that we need to be able to have these difficult conversations without eviscerating one another. And while I don't think verbally annihilating someone is the equivalent of anything happening in Gaza, I do think that if your goal is to help create an environment where people can live together in peace and with dignity and with equality, being verbally abusive and annihilating someone's character is probably one of the worst things you can do. And I'm not saying that because, we have to protect the little fifis. That's not what I'm saying. That's not the point. The point is, even if you are looking at it from a strictly pragmatic point of view, we need to be able to somehow, find a way to stand up for each other again, to come together again, to, not that it was ever perfect, but we need to be able to get to a place where we can love one another. That's really the simplest way to say it. And truly love one another, which means that you want the best for one another and that you don't perceive someone else's thriving as something taken away from you. We need to be able to get to that place again. And
I don't believe we were ever there.
Can I say something?
No, yeah.
Yes,
I say that I said that wrong. I don't think that this nation is so divided I do want to make that clear that that's not what I'm thinking at all.
Sovereign. Yeah.
Okay. As a person of color and a group that has been through what it is in terms of slave trade and, just a lot. What I've been witnessing in Gaza has been traumatic. The percentage of those that have been killed have been women and children. There have been families that have been wiped out. And I will say this, I am not anti-Israel. I am anti-IDF. I am anti anyone who's going to murder, and this includes Hamas. What has happened in terms of the lives that were taken, the Israeli lives that were taken during the festival, I'm absolutely angry, but from what has happened. A life is still a life, but for 50,000 people to be killed who are innocents, especially women and children, has bothered me so much. It has bothered me so much. And we as vegans have to speak out. This goes beyond whatever your religion is. You have to be human. If you don't have a heart, you can go jump off whatever cliff. This is not about what religion is. And as vegans, we can't say we only speak for animals. People are sentient beings. I am so tired of some of us not speaking, period. And we're not just for animals. Intersectionality has to come into play here. If you watch what is happening and you're all for it, you cannot say that you're compassionate, period. And I'm sorry if I'm coming off very harsh or forceful, but there's no excuse that you have to wipe out entire population of people for what?
No, I mean, Sovereign, and just so we're clear, this is all sides. This is not killing Israeli women, children, men, soldiers. This is not killing Palestinian people. Honestly, I'm good with Hamas being wiped off the planet. I just know you can't. I just know you can't do it without killing every Palestinian.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Once Netanyahu said our goal is to wipe out Hamas from the planet, I knew what the goal was. The end goal was to kill every Palestinian, because you can't get rid of Hamas if you don't kill every Palestinian. That women and children,
young
everybody.
People, future Hamas, because they've been radicalized by this horrific government and decades and decades of this abuse. I do feel like one of the things, if I can speak from the perspective of being a Jewish person who's pro-intersectional, absolutely anti-war and anti-violence, this is what happens when there is unexamined trauma. And I know that there, like the fact that to be an Israeli citizen, with very few exceptions, you have to serve in the military, that the level of indoctrination that happens on that, in that one process, not to mention this sort of the whole undercurrent of, we need this land to survive. Now, and the thing that I feel is really important for people to understand and acknowledge and be honest and compassionate about is the fact that for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years, Jews have been annihilated. So while Netanyahu and his government are, absolutely deserve every bit of blame that they get, as does Hamas, I think it's really important that, unless that is acknowledged, and without people brushing it off, without people saying, oh, the Jews, they make shit up, or investing in these propagandic, I've just made up a word, but I don't care, ideas about Jews ruling the world. If we are feeling fundamentally unsafe, that is what the extremists will do. So when we're operating from places of trauma, and Jewish trauma is real and justifiable, if we cannot examine that trauma and move past it with feelings of safety, of security, of understanding all together, we're all fucked, so that's a so.
We got 2 spammers tonight. That's awesome.
I'm sorry. I just want to say this and I'll close. I understand what you guys are saying because there's that you're saying in regards to first and foremost, I understand war is war. My mom went through a war. She barely survived. There's a war going on in Congo. There's war going on in Sudan. So there are a lot of people that are affected. But I will stand clear on infants don't know what is going on. Infants don't know what is going on. And I'm anti-Hamas. I'm anti anybody who's going to kill. But my biggest beef here is that there are babies. I've seen babies on incubators that have been blown to pieces. I've seen fathers who are not involved in Hamas, mothers who are crying over their children. That's my anger, period. And I just want to make that clear. I am not anti-Israel. I'm not anti. I have friends that are all around. My beef is that babies are being killed. And I'm sorry, no infant of 1 month knows what Hamas is. Point blank, period.
No innocent people, you know?
Period. No innocent people are involved. We want to go after those that are, absolutely. We have the same thing in Nigeria and in Congo and in Sudan. So we go over those that are killing. But innocent lives don't deserve this.
Absolutely.
And I know there are casualties of war, but this is going beyond the extent.
And I believe that it's important. Israel initially need to defend herself 100%, because if Israel doesn't defend herself, she'll be blown off the planet. And that's just the nature of where Israel is. However, I can't stand by and watch people, and I posted, I said, you know, genocide is so 1930s. You know, it's the last time. Well, it's not the last time it happened. It's happening today, not just in Palestine. It is just not. It's just not okay. This whole thing is not okay, and nobody wants to do better. The Israeli government needs to be completely overhauled and get some sanity. And they're like Trump right now. The Israeli government is like Trump. That's what shit that Trump would do.
Yes.
You know, if he becomes president of this country. That's what we're looking at, like our future. So I just can't. I don't. And this, we can just bring it right back to veganism. How can you sit by and watch innocent animals be killed? How can you sit by and watch the planet be destroyed and not say or do something? And, you know, vegans do say or do something. However, we're not on the same page in doing it. And we need to get back onto we've never been. We need to be, no social movement has ever been on the same page. We need to be on the same page. We're going to see our restaurants that we love close. We're going to see our businesses that we love go away. We're going to see the festivals that we enjoy going to stop. If we don't get on the same page and we start supporting one another in a loving, kind manner, and don't say, I'm never coming to your festival again because I posted that it's a genocide in Palestine.
Wow. Yeah.
Right? So I'll come and protest your event if you ever come back to my city. These are things that were written, and it was more positive than it was negative. However, you know, and I was called an anti-Semite.
I've been called that so many times.
I'm like, I don't think so. I'm like pretty.
You have self-hating. You're a self-hating Jew, Helene. Don't you know?
You know, and like I said, I just don't understand why people feel like this world is not a 100% zero world. We are not living in a black and white world. Even though that, you know, so many people think we are, you know, literally and figuratively, we are not in a black and white world. We are in a shades of gray world. You can believe in something and you can believe in something else at the same time. And those two things may not actually jive together, but you can make them fit, because guess what? It's my choice to feel and believe in what I believe in. I can hate something and love something at the same time, even, because isn't that what marriage is?
Well, and I think that, I think that the point is that this whole like evil saintly kind of like way that we separate is part of why we have this extreme violence now, because like if we aren't able to find a place of some semblance of understanding of like, I mean, the thing is that like the Palestinians could be annihilated because Jews don't, or not Jews, sorry, Israeli Jews don't feel safe. Until that, I mean, we could post all the, you know, we could annihilate one another verbally. We can, it just, we need to be able to find a place where we can have conversations and make change, you know?
Where we can communicate and not hate.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's right. That's all you can do. You can just reply to people who are spitting hate or spewing hate. They're spewing hate because and you know, I did a post that was it was inflammatory. It was meant to be that way. But thank you, everybody. Got tons of traction on my social media, which is what you want for the algorithm. But it happens to be something that I felt needed to be said. It needs to be said. It needs to be said by people in the vegan community. Why
Right.
the leaders in the vegan community need to start speaking up about the death of humans and not just the death of animals. That is super important. And you know what? You can hate all you want, but the problem is hating is going to help fix the problems.
Right. But I think that like along the same lines of like, let's figure out ways to support and help one another. There are definitely vegans I want nothing to do with, but that doesn't mean I need to, you know, occupy my time with fighting with them. You know, I want to be around the people who are the most, you know, positive for attracting vegans, which is a range and diversity of, you know, but yeah, I'm not, like,
You don't want to be around the anti-vaxxers and people who don't believe in science.
I don't want to be around the people who say that like what's going on in Palestine doesn't matter, what LGBTQ rights are, who cares, that kind of thing. I don't want to be around those people.
No, I mean, that's fair. I mean, people who are living in a reality that they think we live on a flat earth. The earth isn't round. I want them to go to the edge. Because I'll tell you, if this earth was flat, I would want to go to the edge.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't? And why haven't you gone yet if you believe the earth is flat? Because you haven't found it. That's why. Because science is real. I just can't.
Right.
We've gone through, we've become like a dumb species.
Yes, that's true.
And there's a whole gaggle of politicians that want to keep people dumb because dumb people can be controlled, which we've spoken about on the show many times. If you don't educate yourself, you can be controlled. And I don't know, I'm not a fan of being controlled. Never have been, never will. Not unless you force me. But then, you know, it can go to the point that because of the environment that we live in, I have guns. Because more people on our side need them because their side is loaded. As much as you might not like them, we need them.
No.
I know it's a hard thing to say, but got to even that playing field. I don't want everyone to have to use them. However, you're not going to come from my house, my home, and the people and things that I love without me fighting. That's it. And being a Jewish, liberal, outspoken vegan, guess whose door they're knocking on? And just being female. Gosh, the conversation came up over the years that if like Trump was president, that I might have to take all my assets and take them out of my name, because what if they decide that women can't own and have assets? And you don't want it to be gone. Like just gone to the government in the snap of a finger. How horrible is that thought? Because that's the world we're heading towards. And I think people need to really wake up and realize that we're heading towards a place where women, And if somebody says to me they either don't vote or they vote Republican, I say back, do you love a woman? I said, do you love a person who's an LGBTQ transgender? Do you love anybody that is not a male or a white male? You love a person of
They're
color?
not compassionate. Yeah.
Because if you do, then you can't vote that way.
They're not Christ-like, if they're Christian, that's the first thing that is glaring, obvious, always. That's the opposite of Christ, that as we understand,
Says the Jew on the panel.
I
mean,
mean,
but it's true.
If it weren't for the Christians, I would be the first one who would jump right into being a Christian because I love Christ. I mean,
do unto others as you would do to yourself.
Right. I mean, it's just so
Yep.
fundamental,
It's good things to live by.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, what was it like? Falsely attributed to Gandhi. I guess he never said it, but something to the effect of, when he came to the United States, he said, "I love your Christ," meaning the Christians' Christ. Your Christians, not so much. Something like that. But that was what I mean. Falsely, apocryphally, I might say.
It's really funny.
I think Ellen's talking, but her sound is muted.
I can't hear you, Ellen.
Look at her face.
I think it's the computer. Just stop being connected.
Ellen and her tech always crack me up.
No.
Remember when she couldn't find the
You
tab?
couldn't find the tab to get out of here? Yes, that was really funny. So we can actually talk.
Can you hear
There
me
you
now?
are. Yes.
Yes.
It was not muted, but whatever. Anyway, so Christspiracy came out since our last meeting. Has anybody seen it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not.
Christ was a vegan, pure and simple. Just
The original Jewish vegan. Right.
That movie showed me, because I think we talked about it last show, that movie showed me that people have been horrible forever. That I knew that. I understood that. However, to see that,
Yeah.
to see how horrible people are, to
Mhm.
see that they killed him because he cared about animals. They killed him to shut him up. It's exactly what happens today. Just, it's harder to do it the way they did it then. We're not really putting someone up on a stake. So, but we are doing that to people. I mean, we can just do it to people on social media. I mean, your life can be absolutely destroyed with, just because someone watches this and says, well, I don't like what they said, so let's go destroy what they do. That is.
I've lost a lot of friends over, and there's one who I'm particularly hoping is not watching this episode because of our conversations about Israel Palestine, because it is so hurtful to this person, and we're very close in many other ways, but I know that this person has a very good heart. It's just that I think my position is to pro-Palestinian from my pro-Israel friends and to pro-Jew for my anti-Israel friends. So it's just, that's reality, So I have lost some friends and it makes me sad, but I can't not try to use my voice as I see, it will kill you,
You can't stop using your voice. Even if the hardest time to use your voice is when you know that it's going to piss other people off or drive other people away. Because the one thing I never want to do is wake up on the wrong side. I just don't want to wake up on the wrong side. I want to be on the right side, whether that is today showing that it's the right side. But I know damn well that Veganism is the right side. Saving the planet is the right side. Caring for the animals and trying to save their lives is the right side. Helping people with their health is the right side. Showing people how to exercise, how to do that well, how to do it for their bodies at any age is the right side. Motivating people to do the right thing is the right side. Staying quiet and just watching and lurking is the easy way. But how do you
Need to,
facilitate change?
right. But at the same time, you know, I think we are, most of us here, pretty outspoken people. But I guess my point is, if you don't know the answer to something, you don't have to put it out there that you think you do. You know what
correct.
I
Oh,
mean?
no, I'm not. You speak up when don't just slew some bullshit, and don't speak for the sake of speaking. That's
Right.
not what I'm saying.
No, I know. I just
but there's a lot of people that do that too.
right.
You know, I mean, go get educated. go communicate and talk and have conversations. And you don't have to go out and like spew it on TikTok. But you can start with your sphere of friends and start having conversations. And if there's anything, and again, this is the year, every year is the year, and every election is the year to vote. But you all need to vote. You need to get registered to vote. You need to vote. You need to vote in the southern states. You need to vote in the northern states. You need to vote anywhere that you live. You need to vote for local elections. You need to vote for federal elections. And you need to vote. You need to vote for people who stand up for things that matter to you, even though you hate who's running. You need to go with who aligns with you the most and vote your values as opposed to the people, because the people suck. Until we can get to the point where we can vote somebody in that isn't a traditional politician. But this really, I mean, I can't imagine another 4 years of Trump.
Oh, fuck.
I can't. I just can't.
I don't think that we will survive it as an intact, with flaws and all, warts and all, democracy. I don't think we'll make it. Like, we held the first time, but I think it's so weakened,
You learn from your mistakes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you learn from what you did wrong the first time you were in office.
Freaking embarrassed by him. You know what I mean? It's just like, I mean, on just like the most superficial level, I am so embarrassed that this is what we have.
Both of them. Not just one.
I know, but at the same time, let's not do false equivalencies between this is nightmare versus bad dream. Sorry. I mean, like, I'm not a huge fan, trust me, but I think the both sidesism is going to,
And please don't vote for RFK. Please don't do that. He's out there, saying that he's like the independent liberal, and he's an anti-vaxxer. He doesn't believe that there was a pandemic and that that COVID is real. And
he's a conspiracy theorist who is also a libertarian. He's basically a libertarian, but because of the Kennedy Association,
Right, and his family doesn't want him running. Just don't ever go third party. If I can get Milton Mills on here, he'll just jump through the computer screen and and shake you. If you vote third party, it drives him crazy. It drives me crazy. You just pull, Kelly, what's going on in Canada? Is your government going to shit too? Still?
Yeah. I mean, we have our conservative government that is pretty extreme right now, and then we have an ultra right wing government that party that is gaining popularity.
Mm.
We're definitely, I think, in our next election going to get a conservative government. So I'm very concerned too, because yeah, he's made some very concerning comments about, vaccines, just everything that I'm against. That's why I always say, to people when they're like, oh, well, if Trump gets in, I'm going to come to Canada. I'm like, but why? Like, we're not far behind from you in our next elections. So you can come up here for maybe a year.
Fewer guns. I mean, and that's significant.
Yeah.
Fewer guns.
And we're lucky because we
colder.
do have 3 parties, and the third party, unfortunately, still doesn't get the level of votes, to have. I mean, they're able to influence a minority when there's a minority government, because they'll partner with, the Liberal Party that's in power now to stop conservative votes. But it's we're not as hard one or the other. Like, we do have a third. I mean, we even technically have fourth, because the Green Party is still very, very small, but they get talked about at least when we have our elections, right? So yeah, I am very, very hoping that Canada will just say, we don't want one or the other. We want change, and we want the Democratic Party to get in, the new Democratic Party. But I really do think we're gonna go far right in our next election. So I'm concerned too.
It's just so tiring.
It is. So we're going to go on a happy note so that we can go on a happy note, and until the next time, and maybe we'll actually have a topic next time that's wherever it can go. But
what's some good news that you've seen recently that gives you hope in the world? Each of you maybe tell us a little something. And it doesn't have to be some big global, it could be some small little thing that you observed. Like, tell us a reason why you have hope.
How do you stop a woodpecker from pecking on your gutter?
that is a woodpecker pecks in your gutter because they are doing that to attract, to mate.
Oh.
So if the woodpecker has picked your gutter to tap on, then that's a good thing.
I thought that was like a Zen koan. How do you stop
It could be. You could leave it at that.
It's actually really cool. And I understand why people hate woodpeckers, but they're beautiful.
Oh, they're so cool.
They're so cool. And if they picked your house to like try and mate, then you should be like, okay,
Just
that's awesome.
That will not make a hole big enough for you to have your family in.
They're not looking to. They're not looking to. They're looking to attract. They're not looking to make a hole.
So who has something that gives them hope? Come on.
Woodpeckers.
Well,
They're not gone.
I have a baby groundhog in the front of my house now. Like Sally has Sally Jr. because I can't seem to name them anything but Sally. But yes, a baby groundhog drives my dogs crazy. However, super cute.
How do you protect him?
I don't have to. They just do their thing. They burrowed out.
No, I mean the dogs don't try to get.
They can't get to her. They can't get to her.
Okay.
There's a fence in between us, and they can't get through the fence to get to the groundhog. I don't know what they would do if they got to the groundhog, but the groundhog, they burrowed out a hole, I guess a pathway, a tunnel underneath the sidewalk leading into my house. I noticed yesterday that they made it wider, so I was like, oh, okay, but safe space. This is a safe space. Super cute. I'm very happy. I want my pet groundhogs to live out their lives in some place that here is safe, and they're woodchucks, so they have been at my back deck steps and there's gnawing on it. So I'm like, well, this is a vegan household. It's all good. And as long as things don't go to an extreme, I'm good. Carpenter bees, you can stay. You just can't like drill holes into the house. But the wood fence or whatever, do whatever you want. I can replace that. That's to me that's the way
Yes,
everyone should be. No chemicals on your lawns and just
That's true. That's another. Yeah. Kayla
let
or Kelly
live.
got something positive to tell us?
Well, in line with nature, I would say now that it's warm in New York, I hear the birds chirp every morning. And I was actually on the phone with my mom the other day, and she's like, "What are those birds?" I'm like, where we live, the birds are just chirping everywhere. And now that I've been trail running, people have been asking me, like, you run that long in the trails and you don't listen to music? I'm like, no, the birds are my music.
Yes.
And I don't know, I just find a lot of peace being in the woods and in nature, seeing the deer.
It's
the
safer
bunnies.
too, right? To not have your
Oh, yes.
yeah.
That's true. Yeah, they really discourage music when you run races. So I just don't anymore. But yeah, I enjoy the nature, and I think the nature gives you hope as well. When I hear nature,
Yeah. It reminds us that life is continuing, right? That even though it's been a radically difficult time since 2016 and before, it does remind you, like, especially I think with
Stay in the positive. Stay in the positive.
well, but also that birds are being born, that they're
It's
learning.
spring.
Yeah, my
Spring
boyfriend
is
had a
life.
little baby bird nest outside his office, and there were these little blue eggs, and he saw them hatch. He sent me a picture of these little birds, baby birds. It was so cute.
So sweet. How about you, Kelly? Did you have anything?
We have a mama squirrel.
We're all talking about these baby animals.
She has torn 4 holes in our screen now, so my husband's putting like metal mesh now on it so she can't rip through it. But it happened twice, and both times she got in very, very quickly and ate a chocolate bar that was in a belated Christmas gift that's sitting on my bench that I've been meaning to give my cousin. And I don't even know how she found it, because it's kind of like got pillows on it, but she found it. And we came in and found her eating this chocolate bar twice. Now she's eating it. But she's she's relentless. And our cat, we're keeping her as an indoor cat, but we got this giant cage that goes in and out of my office so she can go and walk.
Yeah, we have the same thing.
And the squirrel will just come like through the cracks right in my house. If I shoo her away, she just looks at my hand like, "What do you got for me?" So, like, love-hate relationship with her right now, because she's a mama. She's clearly a mama. She's either expecting or just had babies, So of course we want to take care of her, but she's really freaking annoying. And getting into, she's like, can't get her out of this. She'll just come in the house and be like, no, you gotta leave. She'll be like, boring, right?
I'm not too sure I would have asked the squirrel to leave. Outside of the fact that the dogs and the cat would be like, yo.
Yeah.
But if I had a squirrel come into the house, we would become friends. And I wouldn't offer chocolate. I would offer carrots and like peppers and like peanuts. I love peanuts.
Oh, she didn't offer it. The squirrel just took it.
I know. But I would.
We're like, what are you doing, Mama? You're eating like something that's really bad for you. I know it tastes good, but don't do it. Buy your food. We do buy your food.
It's just get some peanuts. They'll be super happy. Seeds. They'll be super happy. I've seen a squirrel run off with an avocado pit. I mean, I saw a squirrel today hanging upside down in my mulberry tree right outside my window. I was like, "Eat the mulberries, please. I have too many of them."
Ellen, did you have anything that gave you hope that you saw this week or recently?
Just another, we're getting older. We stayed at an Airbnb, and it was built in the 90s, made to look like a Victorian house, had a spiral staircase that we think was not built to code because I was on the inner side. My boyfriend Troy was on the outside, and I was looking down, but the front door opened. I took my eyes off of it and slid down 3 or 4 steps on my butt. But I'm telling you, just the green smoothie recovery diet. I'm not ready to run quite yet, but if you've seen me kind of shift in here, the old sits bones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
If that's the worst, is a sore tushy. That's pretty good. Yeah.
What's with the aging and falling and
diet
hurting
doesn't
ourselves?
cure cancer and heart disease, and well, maybe it does. I don't know. I don't know. I have hope to run next week.
Yay!
You will. You will run next week.
That's awesome.
Actually, I wrote on my fridge earlier, actually, that there is hope after being hurt.
Yeah.
I wrote something else, but there is hope,
There
and
is.
not to lose that. So I just have like these messages on my fridge. I think I posted it on my Facebook not that long ago. I was like, you don't get to hurt me and still be in my life. It's as simple as that.
I saw that post. I love that.
That's it. That's
Yep.
that's
There's
it.
the
That's
door.
me. There's
No, whether
exactly.
it's family or friends, it's same deal. You don't get licensed to abuse because of some familial,
Exactly.
people are not grandfathered in either, because you've known someone a long time and they've abused you for a long time.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's yeah. Nope. All right. So
Yeah.
thank you. Sovereign, do you have anything to say? Hope wise? I'm not gonna leave you out.
Nothing hope. I just have a cat.
I got the kitten. You've got
Is that the one that you
adorable
posted
kitten.
today?
Yeah, that's Hades.
Oh, so cute. He's got that's a he or she?
Hades Hecate Ferratu. It's a girl.
Oh, okay. She's got alternating black and white.
Yeah. She is she's clingy.
How old is she?
Oh gosh, maybe a month, 2 months, maybe.
Oh yeah, probably 8
Oh,
weeks.
she's a doobie. I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's a baby. She's super small. She's tiny. Yeah, she's a sweetheart. She vocalizes for sure.
Oh, that's good.
Congratulations.
Like when cats talk.
Yeah, she's sweet.
That's awesome. Well, just be careful. My cat actually, if I don't get up soon enough, he will actually take his claws and dig them into me so I get up and let him out.
And I
Yeah.
got some good news. I just sold at my listing. Yes.
Congratulations!
Congratulations, Ellen.
That's thrilling.
So we got to do this more often, guys.
Well, we will try. We'll definitely try. I think we'll definitely go live again next month and we'll see what else we have to say.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. Well,
Wonderful to see everyone. I've missed you all.
I missed you too.
Likewise.
All of you. Yeah, I'm so glad. Next time, eventually we'll have all of us.
Yeah.
A full show with Shayla too. That'd be amazing. Okay, well, I'm going to close this out and say thank you. Bye, Ellen. Congrats on the sale. Bye, Kelly. And who's that? Bye, Marla. And by Kayla, and by Sovereign. And thank you for joining us for the Vegan Stew, this edition, which is an hour and a half plus long. If you came in late, you can start from the beginning. You can go to YouTube on VegFest Expos or the Vegan Stew and watch the whole show. And follow us and hit the notification bell so that you know when we go live, because you just never know. I do know on the 30th, I'll be live on Instagram with Juiced Up Reese. And that'll be a lot of fun. And you can see us in Asheville for Spring Fest on June 2nd. And follow social media so you can win some prizes. So thank you. Be kind and be gentle with one another and be understanding and communicate. That's what I'm going to leave you with tonight. Bye, everybody.